at this hard since February, y'all. Since February. And, yo, I mean, just taking this leap of faith has been, it's been a cleansing, an elixir for me, man. A place where I can actually release from the stress of the day. And listen, I encourage each and every one of you guys to find your place where you can relax, refresh, and reset, especially when life gets a little hard, man. Listen, I need you guys to go to Spotify, Anchor, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. The YouTube channel is the Playbook Podcast, Kyle Turner, where you can find every episode from season 1 and 2. Listen, y'all, all we're trying to do is expand our horizons. We're bringing the barbershop and bringing it smooth to your podcast, okay? We got some exciting news. The Playbook Podcast is going to go through a revamp in the next 2 weeks. Next 2 weeks, the Playbook Podcast is going through a revamp. I'm going to have more news on that on the Playbook Podcast page on Facebook. So be sure to follow the Facebook page for more news on the revamp of the Playbook Podcast, y'all. So listen, man, before we get into moving the chains, I got to give you guys the trivia question of the day. So the trivia question of the day comes from the hardwood. We got NBA trivia question of the day. Now, which NBA expansion team was the first to win the NBA Finals? And who won the Finals MVP for that team? Again, which NBA expansion team was the first to win the NBA Finals? And who won the Finals MVP for that team? Listen, y'all, I need you guys to sit, ponder, and marinate on that. And we'll be sure to cover and give you the trivia question of the day on the other side before we get into Stop Playing. So listen, man, we got the trivia question of the day out the way. So listen, man, y'all know what the time it is now. It's time for you to catch the deep ball, maul somebody. It's time for moving the chains. Now listen, y'all, last week we had the pick 6. We got week 2 of the NFL now done with. We're moving on to week 3. Last week we went 3-3, and I'm not too happy about that for a couple of reasons, okay? I don't like being 500. That's number 1. Number 2, my Chargers lost to the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm not happy about that one bit because I saw all these devilish Dallas Cowboys fans come out the woodworks with this, how about them Cowboys? Now listen, honestly, the Chargers gave that game away. All those penalties we had, Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott pretty much kept the Dallas Cowboys in that game to begin with. I'm not making any excuses because we got a hard game this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. But going into that game, we had every opportunity to win, and we coughed it up at home, so I'm not happy about that at all. Either way, I'm not going to bet against the Ravens. Lamar Jackson showed up and showed out and found a way to get the monkey off his back, which is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So big time shout out to Lamar Jackson getting it done for the Baltimore Ravens. Again, went 3-3, 7-5 overall so far to begin the season. It's still time to get some things squared away and get some more momentum. So listen, y'all, let's give you, and I got the 6 games that are really interesting me for week 3 around the NFL. I got these 6 games. Game number 1, I got the Bears taking on the Browns, and this could be the starting debut for Justin Fields. Andy Dalton is dealing with an injury right now to his knee, so it looks like all engines go for Justin Fields to get the keys to the Ferrari for the Chicago Bears. Now listen, he came in relief against the Bengals. He went 6 of 13 for 60 yards in relief of Andy Dalton last week. And, he looked comfortable in spots, but at the same time, now you got the starting position possibly for this week in week 3. You got a Cleveland Browns team that, honestly, they've given up a lot through the air. They're really struggling so far. this season to begin everything. They've allowed 544 yards through the air in the first 2 games, 5 touchdowns, only 1 interception. You would think there would be more pressure towards the quarterback with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, both manning the defensive line for the Cleveland Browns. It has not been the case so far. No Jarvis Landry for the Cleveland Browns. He's going to go on the IR. They may get OBJ back. They're hopeful that he can be back for week 3. Chicago offensively doesn't have the weapons that are going to scare you. Defensively wise, you know what you're going to get from the Chicago Bears. But their secondary has given up a lot as well. 491 yards through the air in the first 2 games. Opposing quarterback rating of 106.8. I like Cleveland at home. Nick Chubb is going to be the X factor in this game. If he can get the ball and rush for about 4 or 5 yards a carry, I give the edge to Cleveland, and the dog pound will be rejoicing. 27-17 over the Chicago Bears. Next game, I got the AFC South rivalry renewed. The Tennessee Titans at home hosting the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts on defense have been putrid. They've allowed 10 yards per passing play so far in the first 2 games. So every passing play is going for a first down against the Colts defense. Carson Wentz is dealing with 2 sprained ankles. 2 sprained ankles. Both ankles he sprained in one game against the Rams. How do you sprain both your ankles at the same time? I guess if you're Carson Wentz, it's something that's possible. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't understand at all. Tennessee coming into this game after getting a gut check win on the road in Seattle, taking on the Seahawks in overtime. Derrick Henry, I'm sorry, let me put some respect on his name. King Derrick Henry went absolute berserk in the second half, putting the Titans on his back. And, I mean, that's a huge back to carry, too. Especially when you're 6'2", and you're 240, and you can run a 4.3 40. Ridiculous. Derrick Henry is a Martian. He has to be a Martian underneath his human frame. I mean, seriously. When God created Derrick Henry, he created him half human, half Martian, half cyborg to be able to do the things that he does at the size that he is. Saying all that, Ryan Tannehill is going to have a field day against the Indianapolis Colts secondary that has been absolutely atrocious so far to begin the season. I like Tennessee to run away with this 34-20 over the Indianapolis Colts. Game number 3, I got the Saints taking on the Pats. Now, famous Jameis was that in week 1. He did what he needed to do for the Saints through 5 touchdowns, 148 yards. Week number 2 against Carolina, yeah, that's all I can really say about that. Famous turned into Amos without the F. And probably a lot more M's. Because that was a lot to... are we sure he should be quarterback number 1? I'm pretty sure that went through a lot of Saints fans' minds after week 2 against the Carolina Panthers. 11-22. 2 interceptions. 122 yards. That's not going to get it done. Especially when you're a Saints team that has been pretty much used to contending in the NFC. Especially when you have a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that are the defending NFL champions. You got to make sure your quarterback 1 position is playing at a all-star, superstar type level. Jameis Winston wasn't that in week 2. We'll see if he can rebound in week 3. New England has a couple of question marks as well. Mac Jones is a starting quarterback. They signed Brian Hoyer to be the relief, their quarterback, and their backup quarterback last week. They won last week 25-6 over the Jets, but I mean, that's the Jets. I mean, come on. Nobody cares. Everything as a Jets fan, whoever's a Jets fan, I know it's painful for you. I know you're miserable, and I know it's the worst feeling in the world for you right now. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you guys are going to be the dumpster pail in the AFC East. I'm so sorry. I really am. But New England has a couple of question marks to me, too. I mean, Mac Jones is doing what he has to do. He's making sure he's managing the game, not doing too much, and there's not a lot put on his plate. But at the same time, these Patriots, I'm still not sure what I got yet. But I know I can't bet against Bill Belichick, so I'm going to go with the Pats to take down the Saints at home, 24-20, New England. Game number 4, I got Dolphins squaring off against the Raiders. And this is going to be a Derek Carr appreciation moment, okay? Derek Carr has been playing outside his mind to begin the season so far. 817 yards, the most in Raiders history through 2 games. And Derek Carr has earned my respect. Now, I had a couple of backhand comments in the past about Derek Carr. I really had to look at the stats and what he's been doing. Now, Monday Night Football, phenomenal game. Week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. Crowd rocking, and you're coming through in the clutch with the pass to Zay Jones to put you guys over the top in overtime. Then you go across country. You take care of business against Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you throw for another 400 yards in that game as well. Close to 400 yards in that game as well. No Josh Jacobs. You're throwing the ball all over the yard with Waller, Ruggs, all your new targets looking fabulous. And right now, you're the top team in the AFC West. And if you continue to keep momentum on your side, these Las Vegas Raiders could find themselves in the playoffs. And I can't believe I'm actually saying that, because going into the season, I had so many question marks with their offensive line. But Derek Carr has overcome all of that and has played phenomenal football so far to begin the season. Now, on the flip side with the Dolphins, they might have some injuries with their quarterback position. Tua could or could not play. They're calling it bruised ribs so far. Jacoby Brissett is the backup quarterback, and he's more than capable of holding his own at that spot. But I got the Raiders at home. I got to go with the hot team. I can't go against Derek Carr right now and John Gruden at all. Chucky gets his guys still motivated, and the Raiders improved to 3-0 to begin the season. They take down the Dolphins 31-17. Got Bucks and Rams, game number 5 on my pick 6 this week. Tampa Bay, they completely took over the game in the second half against the Atlanta Falcons, and again, Matt Ryan loses again to Tom Brady. I mean, I hope that he wins at least one game against Tom Brady before his career is up. That's just me. But Tampa Bay, a lot of momentum, reigning NFL champions right now. They did a good job on defense in the second half. Matt Ryan did a good job throwing the ball around in the first half and even into the third quarter until they shut him down when the money quarter came. The Rams, Matthew Stafford, quarterback 1. They're giving him the keys. They got rid of Jared Goff. And now Matthew Stafford, what you going to do in prime time at home taking on the greatest quarterback arguably ever? You got Aaron Donald going to be breathing down the neck of the offensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we're going to see if they can actually contain him. You got Jalen Ramsey on one side. You got a solid Rams secondary that's going to have to contend with Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and company. But I like the Rams at home to pull off a mini upset over the defending champions 34-33. I got the LA Rams. Finish things off, I got Green Bay taking on the 49ers. Now listen, Aaron Rodgers quieted the critics a little bit, like, hey, he might be washed. Aaron Rodgers said, listen, man, get off my back. I don't really care about y'all anyway. I know who I am. I'm the best quarterback in the NFL. That's why I'm the NFL MVP. Period. Point blank. Ask about me. Check my resume. That's what Aaron Rodgers told the critics after pulling off the win on Monday night. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's going to be without all of his